A dash of mystery, a sparkle of magic, and all things cozy. Join your host, Elle Hartford, for Cozy Alchemy, a proud member of the Authors on the Air network. Hello and welcome to Cozy Alchemy, the podcast all about cozy, whimsical books. I'm here today with Máire Roche, author of Bromantasy, and other books we'll get to in just a minute. But first, Máire, or Mary, is going to start us off with a game of two truths and a lie.
Hi, thank you for having me. I am actually going to be speaking on behalf of Juniper, my main character, and I will let him take the reins here. So, number one, Juniper has spent almost half of the money they got from their grain for this harvest on cheese and skincare. Number two, Juniper has a mortal nemesis at the tavern named Bill. And number three, Juniper loves to camp.
I love these, and I love this approach to Two Truths and a Lie. This is excellent.
And I have to it.
Yes.
I felt like he would love to do Two Truths and a Lie. He does it at the tavern. Like, this is canon now.
Yeah, there you go. We're here for it. And this is very, very relatable. The cheese and skincare, especially. I have, of course, a little bit of background knowledge, and I'm going to use that to say that I believe the third one is the lie.
Correct. This man hates to camp.
Which I just want to pause then and talk about this like mortal arch nemesis. Like, where did that come from?
Okay, so I love Bill so much. He is such a mess, and so is Juniper. Juniper has this like absolute nemesis, and his nemesis is also gay because it's such a queer normative world. And I think that it kind of is a little bit of a love letter and a gentle roast of like my fellow queer people, because sometimes our communities are so small. Like, I know so many people who are like, oh my God, that person just annoys me so much, and I'm like, yeah, y'all are exactly the same, and are like, here I'm in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, and the book community is fairly small and close. I mean, it's a great community, but I would say like the queer bookseller and queer author community, like we all know each other, or we like know of each other, or we're all following each other on Instagram. Like, everybody knows everybody, and that kind of is like honestly like breeding ground for like that kind of like, not as dramatic of course as like Juniper and Bill brawling. Like, I haven't ever seen a like queer bookish brawl, though I would be delighted. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I would participate. I would find it hilarious and fun. Though, you know what, actually, we have a Pride event that has like queer wrestling. Like, you can just like wrestle your friends or just sign up to wrestle anybody.
What?
And during Pride, it's like there's like they have free food and vendors and then wrestling, and it's amazing, and drag shows and stuff. And so I feel like it just really comes from like the queer communities I've been part of. Like, rivalries that don't really make sense. Like, you're all kind of on each other's team, but damn, are you mad about it? So it really comes from a place of like deep love for my community, honestly.
That's perfect. I have to say, wrestling and free food doesn't sound like a great combination. Like, I don't know about that. But,
it's great, though. You should come if you're ever in Minneapolis. It's called the People's Pride, and it's fantastic.
That's awesome. All right. Well, of course, Juniper and Bill are both in Bromantasy, right? Which just came out just recently. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about it to get us started?
Yeah, so I have the silly pitch. It's been pitched in many ways. Two heroes, one brain cell. That's kind of the core of it. I also talk about it like, if you know David Rose from Schitt's Creek, it's like if you took him out of the Schitt's Creek world and plopped him into a romantasy he's like really unqualified for. That is kind of the best overall pitch I have. But Juniper and Mo are childhood best friends, maybe something more. Maybe they have feelings, who's to say? They live together in their cozy cottage. Juniper is worried that Mo is going to want to leave him behind and go on a quest because he thinks Mo is wonderful and heroic and looks great in his trekking trousers. Specifically, thinks about that a lot, more than just like the normal amount of bro thinking about, you know, what your bro looks like in his trekking trousers.
Yeah.
So because he has these abandonment issues and because he has these worries, Juniper gets them accidentally signed up for a quest to go and hunt a dragon. And nothing is as it seems on this quest. Juniper learns a lot about himself. There's less doors to block away the feelings when you're camping outside. and
Mm.
which is really distressing for Juniper. Less skincare, less cheese, less fun, more rain, more fires as well, not in the good way.
Yeah.
But they learn a lot about themselves, they grow a lot, and the dragon is not who she appears to be. So that's my like short pitch.
Nice. Nice. I love it. And I have to say, you're really not selling camping in that.
It's funny because I actually really like camping myself. I have done like actual through hikes. I did a through hike that was like 250 miles. So like my
Oh my
quest was
gosh.
fairly deep. But I do share Juniper's love
Yeah.
of like a cozy king bed. Like I want a king bed and my fancy
Mm.
skincare. Like I'm somehow both. I'm like I will rough it in the wilderness for 250 miles and I want my king bed and my really fancy skincare. Like I just do need both. I'm really much so Juniper and so Mo in this way. I don't know how.
It's perfect though. We contain multitudes.
We do. Mhm.
That is truly excellent real world experience for questing. You're right. That's yeah.
I know
Now,
everything that can go wrong.
yeah, right. As you said, there are so many like really fun like comps and like reviews for this book, mentioning like Schitt's Creek, like you said, or like Robin Hood Men in Tights. Even I saw somebody referenced, and so like seeing all of this, like these very fun references, I knew that I had to ask you what your inspiration was.
Yeah, so I love romantasy so much. I like
Mm.
truly love the genre, but I have always read it being like, well, this like perfectly normal person sometimes gets like thrust into a world that's like very high stakes and very stressful and hard, and they just like adapt flawlessly. And I was like, I was with my wife, we were brainstorming a book, and I was like, I want to write a romantasy, but I want to write one for himbos, like the bros of the world, but gay. Like it's gonna be gay. It's not gonna be like there's a certain type of bro fantasy that is like very different. Like a dungeon crawler Carl is a bro fantasy kind of vibe,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like bros doing
absolutely.
Dungeons and Dragons, and like that's its own thing, and that's cool. But mine was specifically needed to be as gay as hell. So I was like, romantasy for bros, and then my wife and I are like going back and forth with our shared brain cell, like bros, and then I was like, bromantasy, huh? And then it just like stuck and it
Nice.
just really blossomed from there. And I really didn't have anything beyond just that like desire to write romantasy that was like for himbo bros. And from there I just drew on all the things I love. Like I love The Princess Bride. I grew up on that. I loved
Nice.
Schitt's Creek. I loved the feeling of just a queer normative world that you can tell was like written by a queer person for queer people. It was a table that we all belonged at,
Mm.
and I wanted romantasy to feel that way. Um, and I've actually my favorite comparison is not one that I actually was inspired by personally, but everyone has had said this. They have called it Shrekulative fiction, like just like Shrek. And
I
I think that
love
is
that.
like I had
Yeah.
three separate editors independently tell me this. They were like, it's kind of like Shrekulative fiction, and I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing, but you're right.
No, yeah. I've never heard that, but it's perfect.
It's true.
Yeah.
We can thank my editor for that.
Nice. That's good. Very good. Now, okay. So that's very, very cool. And now as we go through this story, we have Juniper is our narrator, and of course he is very funny and very relatable. And he can also be whiny. He doesn't want to be camping. It's fair. um, how did you approach like because I feel like that's kind of a delicate balance, right, of
Mhm.
having a character that is going to complain a lot but like still be really likable.
I think something that's really important to me about Juniper, because of course when we pitch it, we like my publisher and my marketing and everyone has pitched this as like super competent Mo and silly whiny Juniper, and that's kind of a like it's almost a like too simplified for me. Like I actually think it was so important
Mm.
to me is Juniper is so competent. Like I think that makes him likable. He is an expert tracker. Like he's the reason they make any progress on this quest. Like Mo is better at emotional regulation and Mo is better at a lot of things, but Juniper is better at knowing when something is dangerous, which is terrible because Juniper's danger is like not fully developed, but Mo's is even less so. So I think that Juniper is balanced by him being so capable, really. Like, and also I think that he is whiny about his circumstances, but he's hardest on himself. And I think that is relatable to people, where people are like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I want to whine about the rain and the drizzle when I'm outside, but I am mostly mad at myself for this. And so I think Juniper is kind of like, sort of like he's working through stuff and like self-esteem stuff. And I think that's real. And he's a super competent boy. He's a very good boy.
Yeah. Yeah, just not like necessarily giving himself credit, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Which I think is also real.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And I think that really hits the nail on the head because so many of us do exactly the same thing and are so hard
Mhm.
on ourselves that
Absolutely.
you do end up rooting for him in that way. Absolutely. Yeah. That's so sweet. And I really love, so we have like that in itself is very lovely, but we also have this wonderful like evolution of purpose in the quest. And it kind of gets alluded to like in the back cover copy, so it's not too much of a spoiler, I hope to say. But we do go from like accidental adventure to more of like advocating for a child.
Hmm.
Can we talk about that? Like, how did that come as you were writing, or did you start out with that idea?
No, that was important from the outset. I think that
Mm.
Juniper has to kind of be forced to really, really step outside of his own wants and needs because he is a little bit selfish. Something I loved about Schitt's Creek is that every member of that family starts out really selfish. Every single member. David Rose
Mm.
is extremely selfish in the beginning, and he doesn't become less himself. Like he is still his like sweet extra diva self, but he becomes someone who cares a lot about other people's needs. And I wanted Juniper to experience that. And I wanted Juniper to have this look at like, oh, the world is maybe not what it seems to you. So what else is not what it seems? And
Mm.
what else do you have to confront? Because they're sent on this quest, and he is like, yeah, well, the king sends us on these quests all the time. And it's a pretty, I think that it's, if you're looking for it, you see it, but if you're not, you might miss that undercurrent of like, there's more in this world. There's inequities in this world. There's problems in this world. And even though it's cozy
Mm.
and silly, I'm not pretending that those aren't there. And I think that that twist of it's not just a quest. Why does a quest happen? Why does the king need us to go on quests? Why does he always release them around our sacred holidays that nobody celebrates anymore? Why does he get us fighting
Mm.
with each other? Why does he get us fighting and hunting down these like magical creatures that live in our land with us, that cohabitate with us just fine, just not with him? Like what who stands to
Mm.
gain? And Juniper is a little sweet dum dum, and he doesn't know. But it's there under under the surface, and he's kind of forced to confront it just a little bit. And I thought it was a way for me that I could write a compelling story with like a strong world and narrative arcs, but still have Juniper be who he is. But he needs to confront a little bit more about himself and the world he lives in. So that felt important to me.
No, absolutely. And I really want to dig into that a little more because it's so cool that what you're saying. Like we do have like the strong cozy vibes, right? But there is like this inequity in the world, and like I some people on the face of it would think that those two don't go together. So can you talk a little bit more about like how they actually do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a queer person in the world right now, and I have lots of great cozy times in my life, and I love a cozy night with my wife. And the world we live in is still very hard and dangerous. It is not an easy place to be queer right now, publicly queer especially. On my tour, at a stop for lunch, we had a server refuse to serve us because we are gay. Like that is like the on this
Mm.
tour for this cozy queer book, right? Like so much
Oh
queer
my
joy, so
gosh.
much queer coziness happening, and that happens too. And I think they exist side by side, and they always have for queer people. So I think that it
Mm.
actually, I think it would be doing a disservice to my readers and to my queer readers to try to separate that completely. And I do understand, like, there's a place for coziness where you don't ever have to think about that. Like, I do think that escapism can be really powerful for marginalized readers, and I think that's important. So I'm not saying that in any capacity, but I think in this way, I really wanted to be like, that world is still there. They have a version of that. It's a
Mm.
queer normative world. It's a safe world. It's an escapist world. And it's a world where we still have to challenge ourselves and we still have to look around at which of our neighbors might need help. Like, I really wanted to send that
Mm.
message while also allowing people a chance to escape. I wanted it to be both.
Nice. Yeah, no, I really admire that. And I think we end up talking on this podcast quite a bit about the way that you can use like a cozy story and all these, like, everything that we expect from cozy in this safe world. You can use that as a way to like explore kind of darker things while also having that feeling of safety. And like you know, sometimes it's a little easier for us to process when we
Absolutely.
have that, we know that things are going to end up. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Everything is safe, no one's gonna die, and it's all gonna be okay, but we can kind of like gently look at something that maybe we couldn't before. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's such a strength of the genre.
It
So
is, yeah.
it's one of my favorite things. Okay. Okay. Well, and since we are on that note, you do like in the marketing material that comes along with like the pitch for the book, you did write that like this is like your love letter to every queer person carving out moments of joy despite it all. Um, and so that absolutely fits with everything you're just saying. But also, I really like the parallel too of like dealing with this moment in time. I think for a lot of us feels like we're going on this huge quest that we're not prepared for. um, so I love that parallel with the book, and also it made me really curious, like how, like what was the writing process like? Like how did you focus on that joy and everything else?
I think I look to the queer community a lot for that. And I look to our elders in the community who have done so much and who have lived through so much.
Hmm.
Like I look at those pictures of early prides when it was not legal to be with the person you loved. You couldn't hold their hand in the hospital room when they were dying. And like that through all of the trauma that our community has experienced, joy has still been at the forefront. Like we have still gathered and celebrated us through anything. And so this moment of hardship in our community is not new. This moment is something that
Hmm.
our elders have like led the way for so many generations. And I think of like William Dorsey Swan. He was a black person who was the first drag queen, it's like self-proclaimed drag queen, and he was born enslaved. And there are some beautiful, beautiful pictures
Wow.
of him when he was free, in beautiful dresses and makeup. And I think about like the courage it takes to have moments of like such fierce joy after such incredible oppression. And I think I really like I really leaned on that. I was like, you know what? We have chosen joy over and over again, and we have chosen to celebrate each other, and we have chosen to just be here anyway, despite every obstacle. And I love that. I think that's such beautiful strength, and we have that still. It didn't go away. We had a, I think there are some places. I live in a very progressive state, and so I think there was a few years there where marriage had been legal for a while at a federal level, and things seemed to just be like going forward, and now they don't. They seem to be like a lot of people
Mm.
I know have gone back into the closet in many ways. And so I wanted to write this book for us as a like we are still here, we are still queer, and we are still choosing joy. And we are still I'm putting a book like Bromantasy out in 2026 when book bans are rampant, when we can be refused service in a
Yeah.
restaurant. Like that is our
Mm.
reality, but so is Bromantasy. Like we are still here, we are still silly as hell, and we are still going to be laughing. Like we are still going to do that,
Yeah.
and that cannot be taken from us. So I hope that queer people read this and laugh until they pee their pants, and I hope they have that moment. That's what it's for. It is for us,
Yeah.
no matter what.
I love that. And so what I'm hearing is because obviously it takes a lot of strength, right, to choose joy, and I think it's something that people get hung up on sometimes. Just like in your personal life, you're like to choose joy over and over again, as you were saying, like it can be very difficult and to keep going. But what I'm hearing from you is that a lot of for you, a lot of this is coming from the community and from seeing others around you and wanting to give something back to them. Is
Yeah,
that true?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that I have like seen that by example from so many people who have gone through so much worse oppression than I have faced. And so in the
Mm.
face of oppression that I face, I think like, well, I want to join their ranks. I want to be somebody who chooses joy anyway and who chooses our community anyway. And I think it's a really beautiful thing to be part of, and I feel really grateful to be part of it. But absolutely, I lean on that a lot. I lean on this community, and I lean on the like fierce, daring expressions of joy that we have, no matter the cost and no matter what. So I think it's
Mm.
really a lovely place to be part of, and I think that I hope Juniper and Mo bring people some rest and some joy and a little bit of rejuvenation, just to like, we can do this, we can keep going.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's lovely. Um, all right. So we're gonna pivot just a little bit because you do have a number of other books out as Mary E. Roach. Are there any you'd like to highlight? Like What else
Yeah.
have you got going on?
So I write
Yeah.
romantic suspense and I write young adult thrillers under Mary Roche. And my most recent release is such a different vibe than Bromantasy, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because it's just as unhinged.
Please.
It's called
Yeah.
Woman First Kill. It came out in March, and it is a romantic suspense that follows a very rigid, meticulous contract killer and the grumpy ex-librarian they're both gunning for the same billionaire. They both want to kill the same person. She messes up his hit. He's like, okay, you work for me now. His name is Jack. Her name is Ava. Ava messes up his hit. She just tackles this man in broad daylight. And he's like, no, 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 we can't do it this way. And so they end up having to work together. They fall in love. They try and hunt down a evil billionaire. And it's so different in vibes than Romantasy, but there's like a really unhinged queer little grain of like similarities that I think that readers will enjoy. So that's a recent release.
Very cool. Very cool. Can I ask, like, what brought you to the world of writing? Like, where do all these stories come from?
Well, I have always been writing. I love this question because it's so hard to answer, honestly. Like I never just like sat down and decided I was going to be a writer. I just always have been since my earliest memories are writing stories. And even before I could really write, I was like drawing and putting as many words as I could. And even before that, I was telling stories. I would tell stories to my siblings and
Nice.
cousins. I would like force them to do little plays with me that I would create. And then we would force all of our parents to sit through it. We'd be like, come downstairs for the play. And they were like, oh my God, okay. And like now as a grown up, I was like, why would you not want entertainment? But they wanted to just like have grown up
Fair.
conversations and I was making them come down for our plays. So I have just always been doing it. And I love to do it. It is a dream job. And every day I get to just like wake up and dream up new worlds. It's amazing.
Nice. Yeah, and then talk about them. Yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. Okay. In that case, what are you working on next? Like, what's on the horizon?
Yeah, so I have another book out in August, which is a cozy fantasy for middle grade. It's called Little Monsters, and it is a Little Women retelling that is set in modern day Salem. It follows Meg, the oldest of the
That's
March
right.
sisters, and it is all of the March sisters are trying to hide some monstrous ability they have from their foster mom. And as it gets closer to the full moon on Halloween, Meg's magic gets stronger. So when she gets anxious or upset, her teeth get sharp and pointy, her nails twist into claws, and it's very scary for her. And it's very much like a metaphor for anxiety and self-acceptance and puberty and all of those. Like it's hard to accept your body when you're 14. That's really tricky. And add on top of
Yeah.
that, a lot of layers of like, she has to hide some of her body. When she gets anxious, her body changes, which is what happens for kids all over. And so it was really fun to write. It's really like soft, cozy, spooky, just before spooky season. So that's what's coming next for me
Nice.
this year. And then next year, I can't say too much, but I have a book set in the same world as Bromantasy, following
Ah,
some minor characters from Bromantasy. So I'm really excited about that one.
very cool. Nice. Yeah, yes. Because I know, again, from like, I do a lot of research, like preparing questions, like from seeing all the reviews, I'm sure that's going to be very highly anticipated.
I am so excited. I'm so excited to work on it and to release it.
Nice. But I have to go back because, yeah, okay. Little Monsters. I saw that on your website or somewhere. I love that idea. Like, where did you get that idea?
I love Little Women as a kid. Like I really was raised on it. And I was thinking about the retellings I had read and Joe is everyone's favorite, I feel like, or Amy. Those are the two I hear the most about. And I had read some retellings that were like rom-coms for adults. I'd read a retelling that was a graphic novel. And so there are certainly a lot out there. But I was like, you know what I haven't seen is a middle grade that focuses on Meg. And I love Meg. I wanted to write about that eldest daughter. So I think I pulled from that and it was fun to kind of return to something from my childhood that felt like cozy and felt like, a familiar place that I was walking into, but also to come back and make it a little monstrous.
Right? Yeah, that's a very fun twist, especially as you said, in time for Halloween. That'll be
Yes.
good. All right. Now, so I ask this of everybody, but if you could go back and talk to yourself when you're just starting out, maybe just starting out publishing, what advice would you give to yourself?
That version of me would not like to hear this message, but I would say that all of the waiting is worth it. So I had a book
Ah.
that I did Pitch Wars back in 2018, which is a publishing contest that is no longer happening. But I thought that it would mean opportunities for me much more quickly. And I got an agent, I got
Mm.
many, many agent offers, like an absurd amount. And I thought that meant that my book would sell. And then my book went to acquisitions many, many, many times and did not sell. And it was absolutely devastating to kind of get to the very end of the road and hear no, 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 no. And
Ah.
and the agents who had offered had all really built this up like it's gonna sell, it's gonna sell. It was a high concept book. And it didn't sell, and I was devastated and it was shelved. And then right after that, the pandemic hit, and I was like, oh, if I had sold this book when I wanted to sell this book, it would have come out at the height of the pandemic, and my career might not have recovered from that and from those sales and that like lack of, that push. And so it really did happen
Yeah.
for a reason, even though it was so devastating at the time. And since then, Disney bought that option book. It is published. It did come out. And so I think I would just go back and tell that version of myself, like, every bit of waiting is worth it because I got here.
Nice. Yeah. Things happen when they're meant to, right?
Yeah,
Whether or not we
absolutely.
like it.
Yes, and I did not. I would not like that message. If I time traveled and told you that, you would probably want to brawl, much like you were in a
That's,
tavern.
yeah. Well done. Yeah, we've got a full circle moment there. All right. Now, we'll get to our last question in just a minute. But first, is there, obviously, I will have like the link to your website and your bio and everything in the show notes, but is there any way in particular you'd like readers to find you online?
Yeah, so I am only on Instagram and Threads. I'm not really on Threads
Hmm.
either. I'm in and out. So on Instagram or on my website are great places to find me. And I do events throughout the year. So I will have a book launch for Little
Nice.
Monsters in Minneapolis. And so I do like to go and meet readers, and hopefully we'll do more of that soon. But definitely online, Instagram, and my website are the right places to find me.
Cool. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. And I added online is like, I'm like, that's obviously how most people are going to find you. But yeah, in person events, we do those again now.
Me too. That's great.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Okay. Now, final question. What is one win that you've had in the past week? It could be anything.
Yeah, I it was a big one actually. So I when my book came out, I thought I had a good chance of hitting the USA Today bestseller list with the pre-order numbers I had, and I did. But being able to stay on the list was this huge goal that I had. And last week I found out that it was on the bestseller list for the third week in a row, which was a really, really big,
Nice. Oh
really exciting like career dream moment that has come to fruition. So
my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations. That is awesome.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It feels extra
Are
special
you,
to have it stay there a minute, like it's if
yeah.
you make it on the first week of your launch, and I don't know if most readers know this, they combine any pre-orders with your first week sales. So it's kind of your best shot at making any bestseller list you might make. And some books launch and they are on their 1 week, and that's a gift too, for sure, and an accomplishment. But I had this like really like tiny little hope, a seed of hope that I would like stay and have the sales to stay on it. And the reception has been so warm and wonderful, and I've heard from so many readers that they are picking it and loving the sprayed edges and all of that. And so it has been a gift to really to see it stick around.
I bet. Yeah, that's really special. And I have to say, it is a very beautiful book, too. I mean, the
It is.
stories, obviously, the stories are what we're here for. But yeah, the cover is gorgeous, too.
They did a wonderful job, truly.
Yeah. All right, Mary. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This was lovely.
Yeah, no problem at all. And readers, listeners, like I said, I will have all of the information in the show notes, so go check that out. And I will talk to you next time. Cozy Alchemy is brought to you by Authors on the Air, and our theme music is by Cyberwave Orchestra. For everything else, blame Elle. You can find her online at ellehartford.com.